Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Heather Bell, the Director of Membership for the Orange County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to this very hot and steamy Monday. I'm going to be interviewing Brian Foley from Foley Security Systems today, a longtime member of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce who recently rejoined us. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Heather. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Brian, Foley Security Solutions, the first thing that people think of when they hear that is any kind of security is security guards. And then they instantly go to alarm systems. But that is not what Foley is about. You have the ability to contract these services out, and you often make referrals to your colleagues in the industry, which lets you jump right into what makes you so unique. So there are four primary areas where you specialize in, which are training, assessment, implementation, and investigations. So let's break that down. So start with how you work with businesses and schools through your assessments.
Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out here. It's like I got on early, but for some reason, the computer was kicking me off. So hopefully you can hear me all right. Yeah, we get that a lot. We get that a lot with the security, people thinking that we're cameras or guard service. For over the last 4 years now, we've been doing everything but that. The security, what we really are, four areas we work with is the security assessments. Let's start with that. An assessment. A lot of times people don't know what a security assessment is, so they ask, what is that? I'm going to put it very simply. If there's something wrong with your car, and you don't know what's wrong with your car, you bring it to a mechanic, and they're going to do the diagnostics on the car, and then come back and tell you what exactly is wrong with it, and work with you to kind of, prioritize what's most important that you fix. That's essentially what we do with an assessment. We're going to come in, focus on the physical security aspects. What are the biggest vulnerabilities that we're seeing? We've worked with several school districts on this. What policies do you have in place, and where can we improve? So what the client is going to essentially get from us are observations. We compile a really fancy looking report with our software, and then we work with the client in terms of those remedies, prioritizing what's most important, whether it be training, implementing new policies, or assisting with systems that they might need. So that's what an assessment is. Most businesses don't know what it is. What happens is when you need security, you start shooting from the hip and you don't know which direction to go. So this is, if you're not sure, things are starting to reopen with your business, you don't know which direction you want to go in, this is a great platform for having the assessment done first. So you kind of analyze everything and then go from there what you need next.
Interesting.
Our supervisory, yes.
So now that you've completed your assessment, and that has two areas of, like follow-up and recommendation, right? So like training the staff and implementation of policies and maybe systems. So tell us about that step.
Sure. So the most important thing that obviously initially
Looks like we lost Brian again. Unfortunately, we're having some issues with weather concerns over in the Monroe area where Brian's offices are. Oh, he's back. Brian, you're back.
Am I back?
Yep, looks like the weather.
This thing doesn't like me. It's kicking me out.
So I just asked you what happens after you complete an assessment. I think the weather is impacting us terribly on this broadcast. It seems like a storm system is coming through in Monroe. Do you think we're going to be able to hold our connection, Brian?
I can see myself okay and hear myself, but I don't know how I'm coming through on the other end.
Okay. I'll let you know if you freeze again, and we may have to reschedule your broadcast, but go ahead. So the question was that, once you've completed the assessment of the two areas and the follow-up recommendations, training the staff and the implementation of the policy, maybe systems, tell us about that step.
Sure. So we're going to go through the first thing I want to do after I'm done with my assessment sit down with the client and really prioritize. And in terms of training, oftentimes it's just a simple change. For example, like their access control. They have, what is their policy for, depending on the type of business, going through what are their procedures. And what I typically find a lot of times, there aren't procedures in place. So these are usually, it doesn't involve, people think of an assessment, they're going to spend all this money, but a lot of times it's a simple fix, just as an outsider coming in with their expertise and just a fresh set of eyes. As far as systems go, if we notice something that they're missing, they don't perhaps have cameras, the proper technology for access control, we will make recommendations and do research for them. And if it's something that we're not able to do ourselves, we'll contract out with another agency.
That's great. It's important to have a secure facility, to have, whether it be a school, whether it be a business. There's so many things that we don't think of in our society has become so reactive versus proactive. What about follow-up from there? Is there a follow-up, a reassessment afterwards? Do you go back in and stay on top of where you were and make sure that those processes are being followed and retrain, maybe train new employees?
That's a great question. Am I still back on or not? I'm not sure. I think I'm in a club getting kicked out. So am I back on?
You're good.
Can you hear me? All right. Okay. Yeah, I like to continue working with them, because the assessment is just the first step. And being there for the process of remedying, putting together all those concerns that we have. So oftentimes it's training, whether it be unannounced, something that I'm a big proponent of. We've worked with several other schools and businesses on is unannounced spot visits, meaning that they don't know when we're coming. And we're going to come by and basically test. And it's not test to catch somebody, it's test to make somebody better. What is your process for stopping somebody at the door? Especially right now with everything with COVID. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation that we wouldn't be able to get to today. But, people coming into your business with masks on. So that would be part of what we would do as well.
That's great. And so now I understand that you do work with some rather large inner city school districts. What kind of training have you provided to their staff?
So on the training front, just to discuss that a little bit, one of the big things we do is it's called behavioral training. So I got involved years ago with an organization called MOAB. That stands for Management of Aggressive Behavior. Excellent organization. I became an instructor for them. I teach the course. We work with several schools on this course. It's recognized by many school districts and also utilized in the medical industry as well. And the management of aggressive behavior puts a strong focus on the verbal de-escalation part. It's about a 4-hour course. We come on site. We have adjusted with COVID, so just like everybody else, we've made some adjustments and we understand the importance of this training. So we are making it available now online as well in a webinar format. But we are also coming out on site. But the platform for management of aggressive behavior, people think about de-escalating another person, but we put the onus on you because you can't control other people, but you can control how you respond. Protect your volume that you use with somebody. So when we think about change, people don't adapt well to that. We see what's happening right now in our environment. With the COVID, everyone's had to deal with it. People don't like it. And part of not liking change is because they don't understand it. So part of what
We lost Brian again. I apologize. You just have to roll with it. You might be coming right in. It looks like the broadcast studio has him back. There we go. And he's back.
All right. Go figure. This is a brand new computer I just bought too, and it's got 4 gigabytes. I don't know what's happening today. So that's the management of aggressive behavior training, and it helps when you're implementing a lot of changes and really gives you, not just in your work world, but for your personal self, the ability to really work in de-escalating and understanding what the different triggers are when you're dealing with people, properly de-escalate them.
Yeah, those are great training techniques that a lot of leadership training goes through, as well as the de-escalation and the behavioral training. And honestly, working at the YMCA, those were skills that were put to use every day, because you never knew what you were going to encounter. So it was something that previous law enforcement came in and trained us on as well. So that's great. Those are really good skills. So now, not only that, we've discussed how you work with organizations, but you also conduct individualized training as well. So talk about that, Brian.
Individual training is actually like geared around. I mean, we have a security guard training school that basically is for individuals to come in and take the training that's required.
We can make a game out of it.
Yeah, let's count how many times I can get out of the meeting. Actually, in terms of the training with individuals, we do offer a variety of training, like the security training, but we also kind of mix it together, the management of aggressive behavior training, sexual harassment, workplace violence, so they're all kind of connected as well. One of the services I want to kind of just speak about, I don't know if I got a chance, but it's the security supervisor services. And that's something that we came up with. It's our hourly model. And what that is we're essentially providing a service. And it's great that the client can book as little or as much as they want. So they can utilize us for 1 hour a month or 100. It's month to month. And what they're essentially getting is it's like a security management services. It'd be the equivalent of hiring a security director or a manager, but you're just booking in enough hours that are needed. So, for example, we can help with implementing policies for them on security, security scheduling, implementing hiring and recruiting. We worked actually with another school district where they wanted to hire internally for their security staff, and we did the recruiting for them, and the people essentially worked for them. So that's our security supervisor hourly model. It's a great way. Sometimes somebody might just need something for 1 month. So that's something that we do as well. Sure. Am I still on? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. I just wanted to make sure you were done and staying along with the jumping. So, I'm really impressed with the assessment and the training options that Foley Security Solutions has to offer. To recap, we have security assessments, behavioral training, security supervisor training, but there is one more area that makes you unique. And so tell us about the private investigation division. Okay, while Brian is frozen, I want to say thank you to Joe Menuda for his kind words. Joe is a longtime chamber member as well. If anybody else watching would like to make a comment or ask a question, go ahead. I'm keeping an eye in the comment section.
Okay. Right, I'm back on. So our private investigation, it's the one here. Okay. Our private investigation is the one service that piques everybody's interest. Everyone's always inquisitive about the investigator. I have everybody tell me that they'd be the best investigator ever. So I get that a lot. Right now, the biggest thing we've been doing a lot of with the investigation, believe it or not, it's not so much surveillance. We've been doing a tremendous amount of background checks. So we're pretty fortunate. About 2 years ago, we got connected with. There's a long waiting list, and it's not easy to get on a database called TLO. It's something that law enforcement and only select.
He's coming back. I'm watching. Thanks for staying with us. Here he is.
All right.
You got connected with TLO.
What's that?
The last thing we heard was you got connected with TLO.
Yes, the TLO. It's what right now when you think about what everybody needs. So every business right now is starting to which is good news, starting to reopen. And as we're starting to reopen, your business is looking different than it did pre-COVID. There's been a lot of changes, whether it be somebody that was working full-time has decided to maybe retire early or change their hours or change careers. So many businesses that I speak with, you know, as they're starting to reopen, they have a completely new staff. And as somebody who for 12 years did staffing with a guard company, I can tell you one of the biggest, it's an important part of your business because you're only as good as your people that work for you. And when you're staffing, I think anyone that has a business or has ever done this can admit this, we have blinders on sometimes. You know, we tend to hear what we want when you're trying to fill a position. Everybody seems like they're great. And when you think of a background check, most people think of it's a criminal background.
We'll be right back. We hope. Here we go. And he's back.
I'm back. All right. Last time we get kicked off. That's pretty much right now what I'm seeing a lot of. And with that, when you're looking to bring in new people, it's money well spent to bring in, whether you work with us or another agency, but the background checks are important. What we essentially are going to do is, aside from the criminal part, we're going to verify all the employment, their education, and make sure everything checks out, because we know how important it is to have an employee that is properly vetted, and the people that work for you represent your company. So it's an area that we shouldn't skimp on. And, you know, the other function that we do with our investigations, we're able to locate people. Anybody with any of the services that we have, we always do a free consultation as well. So it's something we can go over and sit down and see if we're a good fit for you and make sure we can meet your objectives.
That's great. That's a great service to offer as well. You know, it's better to know whether or not before you put the dollars behind it. So, Brian, now I just want to go to your business entrepreneurial area. You know, how did you arrive here? So you were not a cop. You're not in the military. Most people immediately think, okay, ex-cop, ex-military. You know, it's impressive. You have a criminal justice degree. It's OJT, on-the-job training, and an entrepreneurial spirit. So, you know, tell us, what would you tell somebody just starting out? What is your background? How did you get into this? You know, what was your biggest opportunity for growth? I lose you on that question. That was a good one. Okay, let's count it down, guys. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We counted down to 10.
I would say number one, be resilient. If you get the kickoff, I haven't left yet. You just keep coming back on. For me personally, I went into school for law enforcement, criminal justice, and was working in security, and just basically saw a different path for myself. I kind of had my little epiphany and realized that for me, I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wanted to start my own business. So my recommendation to anybody, not just in security, anyone that wants to start their own business, number one, don't overplan. You know, if you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never start. You know, my mom gave me a good push, because you can plan forever when you're starting a business, and it's good to be prepared and certainly make as many plans as you can. But it's kind of just, you have to just jump in. I think the one thing that I hear the most, people are afraid of failing. Failing just means that you're succeeding, because every time you fail, you're learning something new. I could write that book, you know, in terms of failures, and I think that that's one of the things that holds people back. So if someone's interested in starting a business, just do it, and don't worry about taking the lumps along the way. You're not gonna do it unless you just jump in.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Brian, how will people know how to get in touch with Foley Security Solutions? What is your website, your
easiest
email?
thing is to go to our website. Our website is easy. It's FoleySecurity.com. Foley Security, okay. FOLEY security.com. And they,
all right, thank
you so much for call me.
And
For
we
having me on. I'm
appreciate.
sorry we were disconnected.
Hey, it was fun. It was really fun. Okay. We appreciate you
So
allowing
much.
us to continue to support your business and help you grow. And thank you to all of our members that allow us to continue to support and grow their business, and to our corporate partners. Meet the Member on Wednesday will be ENT Allergy Associates. I'll be speaking with Dr. Eric Munzer. That'll be a great conversation. Wednesday's Coffee Connection, that is our membership networking. That's at 3 o'clock. Don't forget to register for that. And Monday, join us as I get to talk to Dan Arnoff, who is, I believe, third generation of Arnoff Moving and Storage. Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay cool and stay safe.